Captain Lisa Morgan stood on the bridge of the Leviathan and watched the stars ahead grow brighter. The massive ship had been traveling through space for 6 months now. Every day brought them closer to something that might change everything, for humanity. The ship was 12 kilometers long and carried the most advanced weapons Earth had ever built. Lisa knew that other races might see it as a threat, but to her it was just smart planning. Dr. Amy Carter walked up to Lisa with a tablet in her hands. She had been studying alien languages and customs for years, preparing for this moment. Amy was the best xenobiologist on Earth, and she took her job seriously. She knew that first contact would be the most important moment in human history. Everything had to go right. "Captain, we should reach the target system in 2 hours," Amy said. "I have all the peaceful greeting protocols ready. The universal translators are working perfectly." Lisa nodded and looked around the bridge. Commander Kate Williams was checking weapon systems at her station. Lieutenant Megan Brooks was monitoring all communication channels. Chief Engineer Susan Davis was making sure the engines ran perfectly. Everyone knew their job and did it well. The Leviathan was not just big, it was powerful beyond anything humans had built before. Its quantum weapons could destroy entire fleets. Its shields could stop almost any attack. Its engines could travel faster than light for months without stopping. Earth had built it for deep space exploration, but they had made sure it could defend itself against anything. "Lieutenant Brooks, what are you seeing on sensors?" Lisa asked. Megan looked at her screens and frowned. "Captain, I am picking up massive energy readings from the target system. There are many ships there, and they seem to be fighting each other." Lisa felt her heart beat faster. This was not what they had expected. The signals they had been following suggested advanced civilizations, but nobody had mentioned a war. She walked over to Megan's station and looked at the sensor data. "How many ships are we talking about?" Lisa asked. "At least 300, Captain. Maybe more. They are divided into 3 groups, and they are all shooting at each other. The energy readings are incredible." Amy came over to look at the data, too. "Captain, this could be our chance to make contact with multiple species at once. If we approach carefully and show peaceful intentions, we might be able to stop their fighting." Kate looked up from her weapons console. "Or we might fly into the middle of a war zone and get shot by everyone. Captain, I recommend we stay at maximum weapons range until we know more." Lisa thought about their options. The Leviathan was strong enough to handle itself in a fight, but that was not why they had come here. Earth had sent them to make friends, not enemies. Still, she had to protect her crew. "Set course for the edge of the system," Lisa ordered. "Battle stations, but do not target anyone unless they shoot first. Megan, try to identify the different ship types. Amy, prepare all first contact protocols." The ship moved toward the fighting. As they got closer, the sensors showed more details. One group of ships looked like they were made of crystal and moved in perfect formations. Another group looked like living creatures swimming through space. The third group was heavily armored and built like floating fortresses. "Captain, the crystal ships are using energy weapons I have never seen before," Kate reported. "The bio ships are firing some kind of acid projectiles. The armored ships have plasma cannons that could punch through a moon." Amy was studying the tactical display. 3 completely different technologies, 3 different species. "This is amazing, Captain. We are about to meet 3 alien races at the same time." Susan's voice came over the comm from engineering. "Captain, all systems are green. The quantum drive is ready for emergency jump if we need it. Weapons are charged and shields are at maximum." Lisa took a deep breath. This was it. Humanity was about to announce itself to the galaxy. She hoped they were ready for what came next. "Take us in," she ordered. "Drop out of warp at the edge of their battle zone." The Leviathan slowed down and returned to normal space. Immediately, every screen on the bridge lit up with warnings. The 3 alien fleets were much bigger than they had thought. Hundreds of ships filled the space around them, all locked in fierce combat. Then something strange happened. One by one, the alien ships stopped firing. The crystal ships powered down their weapons first. Then the bio ships stopped attacking. Finally, the armored ships went silent too. Within minutes, the entire battle had stopped. "Captain," Megan said in a quiet voice, "they are all looking at us." Lisa stared at the main screen. Hundreds of alien warships had turned toward the Leviathan. None of them were moving. None of them were shooting. They were just watching the massive human ship that had appeared in their space. "I think," Amy said slowly, "we just changed everything." The galaxy had indeed fallen silent. 3 alien races that had been fighting moments before now faced something they had never seen. A ship so large it made their biggest vessels look like toys. A ship that radiated power like a small star. A ship that belonged to a species nobody had ever heard of. Lisa straightened her uniform and walked to the captain's chair. Whatever happened next would determine humanity's place in the galaxy. She was ready. Aelin Starweaver stood on the bridge of her crystal ship and stared at the massive vessel that had just appeared. In her 300 years of life, she had never seen anything like it. The ship was bigger than some space stations. Its hull was dark metal that seemed to absorb light. Energy readings showed weapons that could destroy planets. She activated the emergency beacon that would contact the Galactic Council immediately. Her long fingers moved quickly over the crystal controls as she sent the alert. The Elven fleet had been fighting the other races over mining rights in this system, but that seemed unimportant now. "Commander Lyralai," Aelin called to her military advisor, "send all our sensor data to the Council immediately. They need to see this." Lyralai Moonwhisper moved to her station with elven grace. Her silver hair reflected the light from the crystal panels as she worked. "My lady, our sensors cannot fully analyze their technology. The quantum signatures are beyond our understanding. This ship could destroy our entire fleet without taking damage." Across the battlefield, Zarathek felt her hive mind buzzing with alarm. The Chitani Queen controlled thousands of bioships through her mental connection. Each ship was a living creature bred for war, but they all felt fear now. The new ship's presence made every bioship want to hide. Zarathek's main body floated in nutrient fluid at the center of her command vessel. Hundreds of nerve connections linked her to every ship in her fleet. Through their senses, she studied the human vessel. Its design was completely alien to her. Where Chitani ships were organic and flowing, this ship was angular and mechanical. Where her ships grew weapons from living tissue, this ship mounted devices that hurt to look at. "Send word to the Hive Worlds," she commanded through her mental link. "Unknown species has appeared. Threat level maximum. Request immediate reinforcement." The Third Fleet belonged to Veltar, overlord of the Saurian Confederacy. His species had built the strongest armor in the galaxy. Their ships could survive direct hits from supernovas. But looking at the human vessel, Veltar felt something he had not experienced in decades. Doubt Veltar was 8 feet tall with scales that could stop laser fire. His red eyes studied the tactical displays in his command center. Numbers scrolled past, showing the human ship's capabilities. Every reading was impossible. Impossible, he growled to his officers. No ship can carry that much firepower and still move. Their engines alone should tear the ship apart. His chief engineer, a smaller Saurian named Court, checked the readings again. "Overlord, our computers have checked the data 5 times. The readings are correct. That ship carries enough weapons to crack a planet's crust." Within an hour, emergency signals reached the Galactic Council station. Representatives from 12 major species gathered in the Great Hall. The station was ancient, built when the galaxy was young. Its walls had witnessed thousands of years of diplomatic meetings, but nothing like this. High Counselor Thresh of the Aquatic Union called the session to order. His blue skin rippled with concern as he reviewed the reports. Around the circular chamber, other species showed their own signs of worry. The insectoid Mantari clicked their mandibles nervously. The gaseous nebula collective swirled in agitated patterns. "Fellow counselors," Thresh began, "we face an unprecedented situation. A new species has appeared with technology that exceeds our combined capabilities. What are their intentions? Are they conquerors or explorers?" Counselor Vera of the Machine Intelligence spoke in her electronic voice. "Analysis of their ship design suggests a warlike species. No peaceful race builds vessels of such destructive potential. But they have not attacked," pointed out Counselor Finn of the Plant Kingdoms. His bark-like skin creaked as he moved. "They appeared in the middle of a battle and did nothing aggressive." The debate continued for hours. Some counselors wanted to gather every fleet in the galaxy for defense. Others suggested immediate surrender to avoid destruction. A few proposed attempting communication. Back in the battle zone, the 3 fleets remained frozen. None of the commanders wanted to be the first to move. The human ship sat quietly in space, its weapons powered but not aimed at anyone. This somehow made it more frightening. Aylin received new orders from the Council. She was to attempt first contact while maintaining maximum defensive readiness. Her diplomatic training had prepared her for many situations, but not for this. How do you negotiate with a species that could destroy your entire civilization? Open a channel to the unknown. Vessel, she ordered, use standard first contact protocols. The crystal ship moved slowly toward the Leviathan. Aylin felt her heart beating fast. She had negotiated with dozens of species before, but always from a position of equal strength. Now she felt like a child approaching an adult. Zarathek watched. The elven ship moved forward. Her bioships remained perfectly still. The hive mind was divided. Part of her wanted to attack before the humans could strike first. Part of her wanted to flee as fast as possible. The larger part simply waited to see what would happen. Veltar ordered his fleet to power up their strongest shields. If fighting started, the Saurian ships would try to protect the others while they escaped. It was not a heroic plan, but Veltar was a practical leader. Sometimes survival mattered more than honor. On dozens of worlds, billions of beings watched the live feeds from the battle zone. The news had spread across the galaxy in hours. Everyone knew that their peaceful existence might be ending. Some species began evacuating their border worlds. Others started building defense platforms around their home planets. The Galactic Council continued its emergency session. They had faced threats before, but always from known enemies with understood motivations. Pirates wanted treasure. Conquerors wanted territory. Religious fanatics wanted converts. But what did these humans want? We must assume they are peaceful until proven otherwise, Counselor Thresh decided. Prepare defensive measures, but do not take any aggressive action. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have started already. As the galaxy held its breath, 3 alien fleets faced one human ship in the darkness of space. The next few hours would determine whether this first contact led to friendship or to the greatest war the galaxy had ever seen. The age of human isolation was ending. The question was whether the age of human cooperation was beginning or if something much darker was about to start. Captain Lisa Morgan made her decision. The alien fleets had been watching them for an hour without moving. It was time to break the silence and find out what kind of galaxy humanity had discovered. Dr. Carter, transmit the standard first contact. Package on all frequencies, Lisa ordered. Mathematical sequences first, then basic pictographs, then our peaceful intentions message. Amy activated the communication array. The Leviathan began broadcasting on hundreds of different frequencies, sending the carefully prepared signals that Earth scientists had designed for this moment. Mathematical constants, atomic diagrams, and star maps went out into space, followed by images showing human peaceful intentions. Lieutenant Megan Brooks monitored the responses. Captain, we are getting replies from all 3 fleets. The Crystal ships are responding with similar mathematical sequences. The bioships are sending what looks like chemical formulas. The armored ships are transmitting engineering diagrams. Commander Kate Williams kept her hands near the weapon controls. She trusted the captain's judgment, but she was ready if things went wrong. Captain, the alien fleets are still maintaining combat formations. They are talking to us, but they are not relaxing, Chief Engineer Susan Davis reported from the engine room. Captain, all systems are ready for emergency jump if needed, but I recommend we stay. This is the chance we came here for. On her crystal ship, Aylin Starweaver worked with her translation computers to decode the human messages. The mathematics were simple enough to understand. The images showed beings that looked somewhat like elves, but shorter and less graceful. The final message was the most important. They claim to come in peace, she told Leirale. They say they are explorers from a distant galaxy seeking knowledge and friendship. Leirale studied the human ship's design. My lady, their weapons are still powered. No one travels with that much firepower just for exploration. Aylin made her choice. She activated the main communications array and sent a response in the ancient Elven language, trusting the universal translators to make the meaning clear. Unknown vessel, I am Aylin Starweaver speaking for the Galactic Council. We receive your message of peace. What are your intentions in our space? The response came quickly in strangely accented but understandable Elven. This is Captain Lisa Morgan of the Earth vessel Leviathan. We come seeking knowledge and peaceful contact with other civilizations. We did not intend to interrupt your conflict. Amy had programmed the universal translators with every known language pattern. The Elven response was musical and complex, but the meaning was clear. She turned to Lisa with excitement in her eyes. Captain, they call themselves the Galactic Council. This suggests a large political organization. We might be making contact with multiple species at once. Lisa nodded and opened the channel again. Aelin Starweaver, we are honored to meet representatives of the Galactic Council. We wish to learn about your civilization and share knowledge of our own. Zarathek listened to the exchange through her bioship's sensors. The humans claimed to be peaceful, but their ship radiated lethal power. In her species' history, the strongest predators often appeared friendly until they attacked. She decided to test their intentions. Her bioships began moving into what appeared to be an attack formation. This was actually a defensive pattern in Chitani culture, but she knew other species might see it as threatening. She wanted to see how the humans would react. The response was immediate and terrifying. Every weapon on the Leviathan turned toward the bioships in less than a second. Targeting lasers painted each Chitani vessel with deadly accuracy. The speed and precision of the response made it clear that the human ship could destroy the entire biofleet before any of them could fire a shot. "Stand down immediately," came a firm voice from the human ship. It was Commander Kate Williams, speaking in perfect Chitani language. "We detect hostile positioning. Return to previous formation or we will consider you a threat." Zarathek quickly ordered her ships back to their original positions. The fact that the humans could speak Chitani meant they had been studying galactic languages for some time. This was either very good planning or very good intelligence gathering. Either way, it was impressive. Veltar watched the exchange with growing respect for the human tactical abilities. Their response to the Chitani movement had been professional and measured. They had not opened fire, but they had made their capabilities very clear. This was how a strong species should behave. He decided to test them differently. Opening a channel, he spoke in the deep, growling language of his people. "Human vessel, I am Veltar, overlord of the Saurian Confederacy. Your ship is impressive, but ships can be destroyed. What gives you the right to enter our space?" Lisa looked at Amy, who quickly consulted her language files. "Captain, he is questioning our authority to be here. In Saurian culture, this is a formal challenge. How we respond will determine whether they see us as equals or enemies." Lisa thought carefully before responding. "Overlord Veltar, we claim no rights in your space except the right of peaceful passage. We are explorers, not conquerors. If our presence offends you, we will depart." This answer surprised Veltar. Most species would either claim territorial rights or make threats. The human response showed strength through restraint. It was the answer of a confident species that did not need to prove anything. "You may remain," Veltar replied. "But explain why you build ships of war if you come in peace." Amy translated quickly. "Captain, he wants to know why we are so heavily armed if we are peaceful." Lisa opened the channel to all three fleets. "We build strong ships because space is dangerous and we travel far from home. We learned long ago that being prepared for trouble is the best way to avoid it. We would rather have weapons and not need them than need them and not have them." This explanation resonated with all three alien species. The elves understood the wisdom of preparation. The Chitani respected strength that was ready, but not eager. The Saurians approved of practical defensive thinking. Aelin made a decision that would change galactic history. "Captain Morgan, would you be willing to meet with representatives of the Galactic Council? We have much to discuss." Lisa looked around her bridge. Her crew nodded their readiness. "We would be honored, Aelin Starweaver. Where would you like to meet?" "There is a neutral space station 1 day's travel from here. The Council can gather there within a week. Will you come?" Amy was practically vibrating with excitement. A meeting with the Galactic Council would be beyond humanity's wildest dreams. Lisa felt the weight of history on her shoulders. "We will come," she replied. "And Aelin Starweaver, thank you for giving us this chance." As the three alien fleets began to disperse, Aelin looked once more at the massive human ship. Something told her that the galaxy would never be the same. For better or worse, humanity had arrived. The neutral space station called Haven floated in empty space between three star systems. It was ancient and beautiful, built by a long-dead species as a place where different races could meet safely. Now it hosted the most important gathering in galactic history. Captain Lisa Morgan walked through the station's corridors with her team. Dr. Amy Carter carried translation devices and cultural briefing files. Commander Kate Williams wore her dress uniform but kept her sidearm ready. The station's artificial gravity felt strange after months on the Leviathan, but they adapted quickly. The main council chamber was enormous, with seats designed for dozens of different body types. Representatives from 12 major species had gathered, their various forms creating a rainbow of alien life. Lisa felt overwhelmed for a moment, then remembered her training and walked confidently to the human delegation area. Aylin Starweaver gracefully approached the human group. Her crystal blue eyes studied them with curiosity and caution. "Captain Morgan, welcome to Haven Station. The Council is eager to learn about your species." "Thank you for arranging this meeting," Lisa replied. "We are honored to address the Galactic Council." The session began with formal introductions. High Counselor Thresh welcomed the humans and explained the Council's purpose. Each species representative spoke briefly about their civilization. Lisa was amazed by the diversity of life and culture in the galaxy. When her turn came, Lisa stood and activated the holographic display Amy had prepared. "Honorable Counselors, humanity comes from a small planet called Earth, in what you know as the Outer Rim. We have been spacefaring for only 200 years, but we have always dreamed of meeting other civilizations." The presentation showed Earth's history, human technology, and their journey to this moment. The alien representatives listened with growing amazement. Humanity was incredibly young compared to most galactic species, yet their technology was more advanced in many ways. Counselor Vera of the Machine Intelligence spoke in her electronic voice. "Your development timeline is impossible. No species advances so quickly without conquering others or stealing technology." Amy stepped forward with additional data. "Honored Counselor, humans learn quickly because we must. Our planet has many dangerous environments and frequent natural disasters. We learned to build strong things because weak things did not survive." This explanation impressed several counselors, but others remained skeptical. The insectoid Mantari. Counselor clicked his mandibles nervously. "Your ship carries enough weapons to destroy worlds. Why does an exploring vessel need such power?" Commander Kate Williams answered this question. "Honorable Counselors, we travel alone across vast distances. We do not know what we might encounter. It is better to be prepared for anything than to be destroyed by something we did not expect." Veltar stood up in his section of the chamber. His massive form towered over most other representatives. "Words are easy, humans. The Saurian Confederacy requires proof of intentions. Show us your capabilities so we can judge the threat you represent." A murmur went through the chamber. Some counselors thought this was too aggressive, but others nodded agreement. Lisa looked at Amy and Kate, then made a decision that surprised everyone. "Very well, Overlord Veltar. We will demonstrate our capabilities, but we choose the target and the method." The council agreed to observe a demonstration from a safe distance. They traveled to a nearby system that contained a dead moon, lifeless and rocky. The Leviathan positioned itself in orbit, while the council ships maintained careful separation. Susan Davis worked in the engineering section, preparing one of the ship's smaller weapons systems. "Captain, I have a single quantum torpedo ready. This represents approximately 1% of our total firepower." Lisa opened communications to all the council ships. "Honorable Counselors, we will now demonstrate human military technology. Please observe the third moon of the gas giant below us." The Leviathan fired a single torpedo. The weapon struck the moon and produced an explosion that could be seen from 3 star systems away. The moon simply ceased to exist, replaced by expanding energy that created temporary rifts in space-time itself. The silence on all communication channels lasted for several minutes. Finally, Aylin's voice came through, barely above a whisper. "By the ancient stars, what have you done?" Lisa's voice was calm and professional. "We have shown you 1% of our defensive capability. Now we would like to show you something more important." She opened the channel to all ships. Honorable counselors, we refuse your surrender. This statement caused chaos on the council. Ships, species that had been ready to submit to human dominance, suddenly found themselves confused and uncertain. We did not come here to conquer anyone, Lisa continued. We came seeking allies against threats none of us can face alone. Dr. Carter, please share the deep space sensor data. Amy transmitted files that made every counselor's blood run cold. Long-range sensors had detected something approaching from the galaxy's edge. Ancient signatures, massive power readings, and a clear pattern of destroyed star systems marking their path. This threat has been systematically destroying everything in its path, Amy explained. Our analysis suggests it will reach populated space within 5 years. No single species can stand against it, but together, we might have a chance. The Council. Chamber erupted in discussion. Some representatives demanded more information. Others questioned the data's accuracy. A few began calculating defensive strategies. Zarathek's bioships had been analyzing the sensor data through her hive mind connection. Her voice came through the communications with obvious distress. The destruction pattern matches historical records from the Great Silence, when entire sectors went dark 3,000 years ago. High Counselor Thresh called for order. If this data is accurate, we face the greatest threat in galactic history. What do you propose, Captain Morgan? Lisa stood in the Leviathan's communications center, knowing her next words would shape the future of the galaxy. We propose an alliance. Not conquest, not submission, but partnership. Humanity will contribute our military capabilities and tactical expertise. Each species contributes their unique technologies and knowledge. Aylin found herself strangely moved by the human proposal. Their combination of overwhelming strength and genuine cooperation appealed to Elven ideals. The Elven councils will consider this alliance seriously. Veltar's response was immediate. The Saurian Confederacy agrees in principle. Any species that can destroy moons but chooses not to conquer worlds has earned our respect. Even Zarathek, despite her species' natural suspicion, saw the wisdom in the proposal. The Chitani hive worlds will participate. This threat requires the strength of all species. One by one, the other council members agreed to the alliance. Humanity had achieved something no other species had managed in 3,000 years of galactic politics. They had united former enemies against a common threat. As the formal alliance documents were prepared, Lisa looked out at the assembled fleet. Human ships alongside Elven crystalline vessels, Chitani bioships, and Saurian dreadnoughts. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Captain, Amy said quietly, we just became the galaxy's protectors. Lisa nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Then we better make sure we are worthy of their trust. The galaxy had indeed fallen silent, but not in fear of humanity. It had fallen silent in preparation for the greatest battle in galactic history. 3 months after the alliance was formed, the combined fleet gathered at the edge of known space. Captain Lisa Morgan stood on the Leviathan's bridge and watched the most powerful armada in galactic history prepare for battle. Hundreds of ships, from dozens of species, filled the space around them, all united under humanity's tactical command. The irony was not lost on anyone. The species initially feared as conquerors had become the galaxy's defenders. Lisa wore the new insignia of Supreme Fleet Commander, a rank created specifically for this mission. She had not asked for the responsibility, but she accepted it completely. Dr. Amy Carter worked with alien scientists from every member species. Her xenobiology lab had become the Alliance's primary research center. Elven crystal technology enhanced human computers. Chitani bioships provided living sensor networks. Saurian armor plating protected vulnerable vessels. Each species contributed their best capabilities to the common cause. Captain, long-range sensors are detecting the enemy fleet, Lieutenant Megan Brooks reported. Distance is approximately 6 light-years and closing. The main view screen displayed sensor data that made even experienced officers feel cold fear. Massive spherical ships, each 1 kilometer in diameter, moved through space in perfect formation. There were hundreds of them, perhaps thousands. Their energy readings suggested technology beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Commander Kate Williams studied the tactical data with growing concern. Captain, our analysis shows those ships are made from materials we cannot identify. They do not match any known technology in the galactic database. Aelin Starweaver's voice came through the communications channel from her flagship. Captain Morgan, our historical records mention ships like these. They belong to the ancients, the species that ruled the galaxy before any of our civilizations existed. Amy looked up from her research station. Captain, the biological scans are terrifying. Those ships contain life signs, but not anything we recognize as natural life. Whatever is piloting those vessels, it is not from our reality. The Alliance fleet moved into the formation Lisa had designed. Human ships formed the center, their massive firepower ready to engage the largest threats. Elven vessels provided long-range support with their precision energy weapons. Chitani bioships swarmed around the flanks, ready to overwhelm individual targets. Saurian dreadnoughts anchored the defensive lines with their impenetrable armor. Chief Engineer Susan Davis reported from deep within the Leviathan. Captain, all weapons systems are at maximum power. Quantum torpedoes are armed and ready. Shield. Generators are operating at 110% capacity. Lisa opened communications to the entire fleet. Over 300 ships representing 47 species listened to her words. All ships, this is Fleet Commander Morgan. We face an enemy that destroyed civilizations when our worlds were young. They have returned to reclaim territory they consider theirs. We will not let them succeed. The response came as a chorus of different languages and communication methods. Battle cries, tactical confirmations, and pledges of loyalty filled the communication channels. The galaxy had never been so united in purpose. Veltar's massive voice boomed over the Saurian fleet frequency. Human Commander, the Confederacy stands ready. Our armor will protect the fleet while your weapons break their defenses. Zarathex, Hive Mind coordinated hundreds of bioships with perfect efficiency. Fleet Commander, the Chitani swarm awaits your orders. We will overwhelm their formations with numbers and speed. Lyralai Moonwhisper commanded the Elven battle groups with tactical precision that impressed even Kate Williams. Supreme Commander, Elven forces are positioned for maximum effectiveness. Our crystal ships will target their command vessels first. The enemy fleet emerged from hyperspace with coordinated precision that spoke of ancient intelligence and vast experience. The spherical ships arranged themselves in a formation that maximized their firepower while protecting their flanks. They had fought many battles over millions of years. Lisa studied the enemy deployment with growing admiration and terror. They are positioning exactly as our war games predicted. These beings have been fighting space battles since before our species existed. The first exchange of fire lit up the darkness between stars. Alliance weapons struck the ancient ships and accomplished exactly nothing. Energy beams that could crack planets simply bounced off their hulls. Quantum torpedoes that had destroyed moons exploded harmlessly against their shields. Captain, our weapons are completely ineffective, Kate reported with barely controlled panic. Nothing we have can penetrate their defenses. But the ancient ship's return fire was devastating. Beams of pure destruction reached across space and vaporized entire Alliance vessels in seconds. Their weapons technology was so advanced it seemed like magic compared to galactic standard equipment. Amy frantically worked with her research team, analyzing every scrap of data they could gather. Captain, their shields operate on principles we do not understand, but I am detecting quantum fluctuations. There might be a way to disrupt them. The battle raged for hours. The Alliance fleet fought with desperate courage, but they were clearly outmatched. Ships died by the dozens while the ancient fleet remained completely undamaged. Victory seemed impossible. Then Susan Davis made a discovery that changed everything. Captain, their shield technology creates quantum resonance patterns. If we can match those patterns with our own weapons, we might be able to get through. Working together, human engineers and alien scientists modified their weapons in the middle of battle. Elven crystal technology provided the precision needed. Chitani bioships adapted their weapons organically. Saurian armor plating was reconfigured to create massive resonance amplifiers. The modified weapons proved effective, but barely. Before they had done no damage at all, now they could slowly wear down the ancient shields. But the enemy adapted quickly, changing their defensive frequencies to counter each new attack. Lisa realized they needed a different strategy. All ships, execute Formation Omega. We cannot win through firepower alone. We need to get close enough for boarding actions. The Alliance fleet charged directly at the ancient ships, accepting horrific casualties to close the distance. Human marines, elven warriors, Chitani soldier forms, and Saurian shock troops prepared for close combat with beings from another era. The boarding actions were nightmarish. The ancient ships contained corridors filled with twisted geometry that hurt to look at. The beings piloting them were no longer truly alive, but something between organic life and digital intelligence that had existed for millions of years. But the Alliance fighters had something the ancients did not expect. They had diversity, human adaptability, elven wisdom, Chitani numbers, and Saurian strength working together proved more effective than any single approach. Slowly, painfully, the Alliance began to win. Ancient ships were captured or destroyed one by one. The enemy's perfect coordination became a weakness when Alliance forces learned to disrupt their communications. When the last ancient ship finally fell silent, the Alliance fleet had lost over half its vessels. But they had won the most important victory in galactic history. Lisa sat in her command chair, exhausted but relieved. Megan was sending a message back to Earth that would change everything. First contact successful, galaxy secured, Alliance formed. Proceeding to investigate ancient technology. Will report when possible. Amy looked at the data they had gathered from the ancient ships. Captain, this technology could advance every species by thousands of years. But more importantly, we now know we can work together against any threat. The galaxy had fallen silent again, but this time it was the silence of peace. Humanity had found its place among the stars not as conquerors, but as the species that brought everyone together when it mattered most. In the years that followed, the Alliance would face other challenges, but they would face them together, united by the knowledge that cooperation was stronger than any individual power. The age of human isolation was over. The age of galactic unity had begun.